Hello, my name's Sean Garlick. I played at the Rabbitohs from 1990 to 93, then the Roosters from 94 to 97, then returned to the Rabbitohs for 98 and 99 when I retired. I'm now tied up full-time in a business called Garlo's Pies. We're thin on pastry and we're big on meat. I came through the junior ranks and we actually won the under-21s in 1989. It was the same year that the Rabbitohs won the minor premiership in first grade. I graduated to reserve grade and then first grade the following year in 1990. When I first made first grade in 1990, they did a front page story on Big League. They mentioned the fact that I was a child actor. I remember in one of my first games playing against Balmain, the great Stephen Roach, I got thrown down in a tackle and he made a point of getting up and putting all his weight down through his knee onto my face as he got back up to his feet and looking down at me and saying, "Oh, come on, stop acting," and had a bit of a chuckle. Funny, I joined the police. I was a mad rugby league follower at school and I just had this dream to play first grade football. When anyone scored a try, they'd bring up the profile of the player that scored it. And I couldn't help but recognise that it seemed like nearly every second player was a policeman. And so I came straight out of school, straight out of the police academy and went to Maroubra Police Station, was posted there. So, I had to battle working shift work with playing football mostly on a Saturday or Sunday, training of an afternoon. Everybody knows that the Rabbitohs were never ever flush with cash, and it was at a time when there was so much invested in the Leagues Club that just took away from any chance of the football club being able to build. So it was heartbreaking, and even myself, I had to leave in 1994 myself and go over to the Roosters. The Roosters at the time had gone through a few very lean years, and so they brought over Phil Gould, and I went actually from being reserve grade captain to first grade captain in 1 week. Immediately thought with Freddie coming over, he was Origin captain and Australian captain, that I'd hand over the captaincy role over to him. But Gus was quite happy with the job I was doing, and it worked really well. And I had a great time playing with the likes of him and Matty Singh. I think came at the same time, and for 96 and 97. The Rabbitohs were they'd had a few lean years and had installed a new coach by the name of Steve Martin, the ex-Manly halfback. And so he was installed as first grade coach, and he gave me a call and said, "Oh look, we'd like to get you back to the Rabbitohs. What'd you think about it?" And I agreed. It was a great way to finish the career, being back at the Rabbitohs where it all started. I was always going to be retiring at the end of '99, and right through that year we knew the NRL was positioning clubs for either merger or to be extinguished, and we knew the Rabbitohs were well and truly in the sights of the NRL. The march was huge, and no one really expected it to be anywhere near as successful as it was. I've actually got a couple of photos out there where my eldest son now, who's 26, he was only 7. And he was on my shoulders, and I spoke at the town hall in front of 100,000 people and said what it felt like to be a Rabbitoh and to grow up following the team, and then to have it thrown out of the competition, and how much I look forward to them being back into the comp. And so in the end it was people power that got the club back into the comp. When I finished playing, I really didn't know what I wanted to do other than leave the police. So I sort of looked around. My brother was a pastry cook who was working in a local pie shop for about $400 a week. He was a bit miserable and bored. And I said, "Oh, what about if we had our own shop? Would you like to, run our own business?" And he was in for it. I thought it was just going to be a hobby for me. But what we did to launch it was I called on my friends, and in particular it was Glennie Pallister, who was executive producer of the Footy Show at the time for many, many years. And I wanted to get the greats like Arthur Beetson and Mark Carroll and Craig Salvatore, Darryl Broman and Mark Geyer together for a pie eating contest, and they covered it live on the Footy Show. They crossed back and forward to us about 3 or 4 times, and it just launched the business like no one could have expected. I was selling like hotcakes. I couldn't believe it. We went from having 5 staff to 150 staff. We then started supplying to pubs and clubs and schools and cafes and sports grounds, and all of a sudden we were supplying to Coles New South Wales. To be involved in the Rabbitohs and being able to support them since 2001, since we first started, and when the Rabbitohs got back in the comp, has been great. Pies and football are forever linked anyway. I was just very lucky that I chose a a business that was so relatable. You know, the fact that it was so relatable to football is just, it was just a big fluke, really. When people say, "What are you doing?" I say, "I'm a pie man." You know, that usually brings a smile, and people can relate to it straight away, and it's great.